In other news, David Munoz signed in the practice squad.
Wait. Oh, okay. Said,
The breaking news I just gave, the issue you had with him was not with you going to Utah.
I'm just,
Jazz.
you know,
You
listen.
were fine with that. That's a possibility. Okay, let's get this started.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Around the Hive podcast presented by the Shenandoah Red Team. Keric, Jackson, Isaac Blue to my right. We have our first guest of this new year, Coach Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Care to introduce the man?
This is big time.
This is.
I'm so excited about this one. For the first one of the year, we're in front of beautiful Shintel Stadium. The sun is shining. And we got Coach Scott Yoder, our head football coach here at Shenandoah. So,
He was so excited, he was very prompt this morning. That's how excited he was for this opportunity. But glad to be here, guys.
He's been ready for this one for a while.
yeah. No, he has. And yeah, my apologies. We were talking to a recruit, and I didn't want to.
That's the excuse that we like to hear. You're locking up a dude.
Hey,
That's allowed.
I'm just trying to be like you.
Did he commit?
Man. Oh,
You
no,
get him?
too early for that. Too early for us.
Fair. That's fair.
Too early for us. All right, you want to get started?
Yeah, I mean, you've got your cue cards, you've got the questions, or do you want me to?
Yeah, you kick it off. You always do a good job of that.
All right, so I obviously welcome Coach Yoder to the podcast. Your first time being on here. We've done football in the past, but it's nice to have a coach on here as well to kind of get your perspective on things. So just kick it off with a nice, easy question. You know, talk about this season so far, how your preseason was, and then obviously through week one, getting that early win against Methodist once again.
Oh, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. Great to be here. Early in the season, it's great to be 1-0. We go on the road this weekend. We go to Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, which is north of Pittsburgh. Our first time playing Geneva College. We've got a 2-game home and home with them. It's always, I always like going on the road. I think you're going to learn a lot about your team, playing an opponent that we're not very familiar with. They've got a bunch of starters back from last year. So I think it's going to be a good test for us on Saturday. I liked how preseason went, just the way the calendar fell. This was probably the longest preseason. Those were things that are kind of outside of our control. But I thought our team did a good job there's some ups and downs of preseason, some highs and lows for sure, but we got a good scrimmage against Gettysburg, and then fortunate enough to start the season 1-0 by taking down Methodist at home, and certainly wasn't the cleanest game that we've ever played, but there were some really positives coming out of that. So I really like where we are in early September.
Talk about kind of how different this year has been for, obviously, you as a head coach, right? You've had pretty much the second best quarterback of all time in SU history, I should say, with Hugney. Now he's gone, so you've kind of had to go through another cycle of, who's going to be that next big quarterback for you. And then obviously your O-line is different this year, right? You have a new receiving core this year. A lot of different pieces that ended up being lost to graduation of the transfer portal. Sort of talk about how much different this team is this year compared to last year, and sort of how you're kind of going through that as a coaching staff.
I think that's the fun part. Every year the changes, whether they're perceived to be big or small, it really affects the group that you have. And I think that's a positive thing, just because you want your culture to be rooted in some things and keep growing. At the same time, your team identity is going to be a little bit different every year. What does it take for this team to squeeze the most out of it? And to be honest, the exciting part is on September 11th, or wherever we are right now, we don't really know. We've got some good answers, but I think we still have some good questions, and that's okay. And that's the exciting part. You mentioned, everybody wants to talk about the quarterback, and you had one that was here for 4 years and did so much, made so many plays. We're a quarterback-centric offense, so it's not just turn around and hand the ball off. So people are going to see that guy. He's going to get too much credit when we win and too much blame when we lose. I get that, but certainly different without him. I think the unique part about Steven was he was such a good leader, not just a captain, but right from the jump as a freshman, he was a kid that really in practice motivated his teammates in a very competitive but positive way. Yeah. And that's probably what I'll miss the most about him. just because you don't see that a lot anymore. When you've been doing this for 25 plus years. So, but we could talk the whole show about the guys we had last year because we had such a great group. And I thought the challenge in the off season was leadership roles. Not that we don't have good leaders, but those guys had all been leaders with that senior group ahead of them. And that's a little different. You got guys you can bounce ideas off of, guys that can kind of be at the forefront, and maybe you're right there too. And so it was just developing those leaders to try to continue what we've built here and what they've built. And I really think that we've done a good job. There's some hope in that. And really the test will be, we're going to go on the road. We're going to play some good teams. What happens when things don't go our way? What happens when we're down? That's when we'll really figure out who we are.
Definitely. And I know you mentioned the leadership aspect and like the leadership change, from last year to this year. Even with your captainship, the only returning captain from last year was Matt Conroy. You had to select 3 new captains this year. So let's talk about that process and choosing those new captains and sort of how either they or even just various people among your team have stepped up in those leadership roles as this last large senior class exited the team.
Well, we always like our team leadership, we always like our team to vote on that. So those captains were chosen at kind of the end of the spring last year and voted on by their peers. Now, there's probably a good conversation to be had there because, you've got captains elected and you've got a big freshman class that never got to vote for those guys. At the same time, if you do that in the fall, you got a big group of freshmen, and football is such a different sport. A young freshman defensive player might not have as good of a relationship with some of the older offensive players. But that's why we elected to do it in the spring, and Andy Anderson and Sean Perry and Drew Custer were elected alongside Conroy, and they've been great. I mean, guys that just represent our program inside and out, what they do in the classroom, what they do in the weight room. So I feel really comfortable with those guys and going to them. And, even just in the summertime, we had a couple of conversations and one Zoom where it was, hey, listen, this is, I told them we're going to go to Geneva and we've got to make it a day trip. This is not an easy trip, but at the time, WVU Pitt is this weekend, and that's a huge rivalry. And there were not affordable hotels for us to make it work the way we wanted to. And I just said to them, hey guys, we're gonna day trip it, and we got to be ready to be locked in and be focused. I want them to know why we make some of the decisions that we make. But the culture is good because those upperclassmen and captains do a great job of living and breathing every day what we want to stand for.
Absolutely. So I have one more thing before I hand it over to Coach Blue here. It's a new ODAC for you this year, right? You lost Ferrum because they went up to Division II, but then you gained 2 different teams in Gallaudet and Roanoke. I would feel like this Geneva game and losing that one non-conference game is also big because it's one less game to prepare you for that ODAC season. But again, you've got a new opponent in Geneva, which I feel like in a way could prepare you for one of, if not both of these 2 new opponents when you have to travel to Roanoke and then host Gallaudet later in the year. So let's talk about sort of your feelings in this new ODAC this season.
Well, you bring up a bunch of interesting points. First of all, Ferrum leaving, Emory and Henry left a bunch of years ago, and we've always been really aware as a conference that we probably need another member. It's really hard in this area to get 3 non-conference games, so the fact that we have 8 is really good. Roanoke adding football, long-time ODAC member, but first-time football, that's really good for our schedule. It probably hurts recruiting. That's just another hand in that area, another option for young people, which is a good thing for them and makes it more competitive for us. Gallaudet, we have a little familiarity with them. We played them early on when I was here. I like that geographically that they're really close. It's not a long overnight trip, but I think you're right. Roanoke, there's not a huge data set there for anybody. Gallaudet, we don't know a ton about them. We've got to go play Geneva, play a team we're not really familiar with. So going to a new location, preparing for somebody that you don't have a history with, I think is really valuable. And I like where the ODAC's headed. I like that we've got eight conference games now. It's needed. but I think there's just probably the most unknown we've ever had before going to a conference season.
That was a great answer.
That's what I'm here for, right?
Especially when you
don't they deserve a great answer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is just, we're going to get into this, Mr. COY, and what that award meant for you and your staff, because I know you're a very humble dude, so you're always going to say, it's my staff, it's my guys. But so let's go back a little bit. I want the community to kind of get to know you a little bit better in a different way, and maybe even your players. This question kind of, what is one thing that non-football that your players would probably be surprised to learn about you or know about you? What's one thing?
Non-football.
Well,
I would say that what people are probably most surprised at is that at one point in my life I was a huge NASCAR fan.
Okay.
And probably not as much. I mean, I used to watch all the races. I've gone to a bunch of races.
Mm-hmm.
Still interested in it, but probably not the way that I was.
Mm-hmm.
I like to inshore saltwater fish. I mean, if I had time off, I would probably fish and play golf. Is probably what I would do. So I don't know if that's
inshore
saltwater fish. Yep. I like to fish regardless.
Yeah.
And I'll fish around here, and I really enjoy that. But if you said, what do you want to do when you're done coaching? I want to be someplace where I can saltwater fish.
Okay.
And I don't have a boat, so that's why it's inshore. If I had a boat, maybe it's a different conversation.
Okay, so now that's where we're getting the inshore.
Do you understand a little bit better now?
I mean, I guess so. I know
There's a little confusion on Coach Blue's face when he said it
here.
first.
Okay.
Not a fisherman.
Okay. I got that. I am very surprised by that. That's a good one. Okay. All right. So take us back. When was and you've been coaching for a little while now, but when did you know coaching was really your call?
So I was fortunate. I started where I played. There was a really good friend of mine who was a teammate of mine, and he was a year ahead of me, and he decided to stay on at our alma mater as a football intern. So I was playing my senior year. He was coaching, and we're still really close to this day. And I think it was maybe Christmas time. My senior season was done, and he said to me, "Do you if you have an interest in coaching, there might be an opportunity on this staff," and that kind of really piqued me. I was an econ business guy, probably didn't know what I wanted to do, and really what ended up happening was I went to my parents, and without asking them, I was basically asking permission to say, you just footed this bill.
Yes.
For 4 years of college, and now I'm going to tell you I'm going to be a college football intern. And really it was let's do it for a year or two and see if I really liked it. They were really good with that. My parents were, and I did that, and that's 26 years ago, and I loved it. I knew I would like it, but I really loved it. Knew college was the place for me, and I'm fortunate to be around really good people. The guy I played for was my boss for 12 years. He was awesome.
That's good.
Learned so much about myself. Football, I thought I knew a lot about football until you actually, start to work and you realize, wow, you don't. But also learned more about people than I probably ever would have. Just recruiting and managing and coaching, and you just learn so much about people. So really appreciative of that experience.
Yeah, and talk about, you were a long-time assistant, and I guess a lot of people don't understand, even at this level, like, staying in it that long is as an assistant is tough, because you can kind of lose your resolve a little bit, because you see that head coach title that you want or that you're esteeming to. So how did you kind of stay motivated in that moment of, like, as an assistant and kind of understanding what your end result would ultimately be?
Well, I just enjoyed my 12 years at my alma mater at Hope Art was just, it was so rewarding.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed just every day, and we worked really hard. We had a lot of success. But I look back at that time, and I could sit here for half a day and tell you stories just about things that happened and things that we did, and I learned so much, and I'm appreciative of that time, and it really just makes me smile. The big turning point for me was, I definitely applied for jobs. I definitely was turned down.
Yeah.
And I look back on it, and those were the times you're kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but you realize that all that stuff kind of sets you up to be where you need to be when you need to be there, even though you don't know that.
Yeah.
The big thing for me was I was married. My wife's a teacher. I had 2 children. The third was on the way. And it was just unsustainable.
Yeah.
Just from the standpoint of the biggest part for me was the recruiting, because my territories, I loved them, but I'd be going Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get home late Friday night. My kids would be asleep.
Yeah.
They'd wake up on Saturday. I'd be there. And then I have to leave Sunday to get back to my spot from Monday through Friday. And I was just like, this is not a sustainable future for me in that regard.
Yeah.
So I started, and we were fortunate. We were really successful at that time. And there were some opportunities. I was like, it's time for me to try to take that next step.
Yeah.
And, I remember we got to the quarterfinals. We flew to Minnesota. We lost to St. Thomas. And I remember flying home on that trip. And as great as the season was, and as great as an experience that was, I was like, this is the time. I have to, for me and my family, I have to try really hard.
Yeah.
And it wasn't I was going to take anything.
Yeah.
But there was 2 really interesting jobs open at the time. This was one of them. Kind of funny coincidence that Hobart played W&L in the first round of the playoffs that year.
Okay.
So we got the Shenandoah W&L game.
Okay.
So it just kind of how it works out. But, I applied here, and I think I applied late because our season wasn't done yet, and, got an interview, and here I am.
The rest is history.
I guess so.
We're
I
sitting
guess,
down with COY.
I guess so.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, if someone from Winchester and the beauty of, and I guess it's hard to obviously close practice, but I do love that I can just walk over and watch practice and see some familiar faces, but kind of see you all in the trenches doing your thing. What if somebody who's never been to a Shenandoah football game and they wanted to watch practice, what is one thing that you think they would say walking away about your culture that you've kind of built, or at least a culture in practice?
I think that's a great question, just because we're all, you as a coach and our athletic department, what are we trying to stand for every day? And if you came to one of our practices, I would hope you'd see, first of all, it kind of looks like chaos at times. You've got 125 to 135, depending on injuries, guys. You've got offense, defense, special teams. So, there are times where it looks like it's chaos, but it is absolutely organized chaos. And
love that.
I think I would hope that you'd come away with, hey, there's a bunch of guys that they're gonna play really hard, but also care about each other. And what I mean by that is you have to be able to practice football at a high level, but still not expose people to unnecessary hits and unnecessary possible injuries. So we talk about every year, starting in August, how we practice is really important. And again, you got 40, 50 new freshmen coming in. They know nothing about that.
Yeah.
They might have went full pack every day in high school and just tacked into the ground every day. We can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
We can't. So getting those guys up to speed and teaching them in the positive reinforcement and some negative reinforcement sometimes. But I think that I hope someone would come away with, hey, that's a group of young men that are going to practice really hard, but they're also going to practice really smart. Yeah. I hope that someone would see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think much like, in our sport of hoops, and then especially for football, I think it is the same teams are pretty consistent and they're good every year. What do you think it takes, especially from year to year? And like you said, we're losing Steve and we're lost a ton of talent. But what do you think? And I know you talked about culture earlier, but what do you think is that makes teams good year after year after year? And then how do you plan on from this past year to this year, kind of now you've always been consistent. You're all-time winners coach here, but like after a year you had, how do you continue to be consistent this year?
There's a lot of great question.
Yeah.
A lot of things
Long
that
question.
I could unpack from that.
Yeah.
One thing I would just point out is if you look at the ODAC, and I would assume maybe you wouldn't say it this way in basketball, but in football, there's haves and there's have-nots.
Yeah.
and it's it's outside everyone's control. And there's sports that some schools really, it seems from the outside, care a lot about.
Yeah.
In the way that Shenandoah has been able to, in the football world, move the needle is one of the biggest things is our staff consistency.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate. We've had really good staff. There hasn't been a lot of turnover, but that's something that's really helped us because it's not just coaching. It's not just culture to the team. It's recruiting. The high school coaches are seeing the same guy 2-3 times a year, the same message. We get a kid from there. The kid has a good experience. It just stacks little by little. That's been a huge thing for us. And we're talking Division III. We can't throw a lot of money at these guys. They got to really want to do it. They've got to be in a position family and geographically that this place serves them. I've been there. You've been there. It can't just be, hey, I love football and I love basketball. It's got to work for them. So we've been incredibly fortunate and blessed. That's really helped us. That's helped us close the gap and get to where, hey, we're 8-3. How do we go 9-1? How do we go 10-0?
Yeah.
What really intrigues me is that, take your Randolph-Macons, your W&Ls, your Bridgewaters, your Hampton Cities, your Shenandoahs. We're trying to win different ways. We all have a culture. It's all different.
Yeah.
But really, when we go play those teams, it's whose culture is better.
Yeah.
And not their culture is wrong and our culture is right, but do we have more committed kids to the way we want to do things and be successful than do they?
Yeah, consistently.
And I think that's the really interesting thing from the team building perspective. What we need to just keep doing is keep bringing in great recruits that we believe in, that we're honest with, that see the opportunity here.
Yeah.
And if you do that, it's going to turn the tide.
Yeah.
And we've done that here. I think now is the challenge is, okay, you can be 7-3, you can be 8-2.
Yeah.
The wheels aren't going to fall off.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
It's like if you're a golfer, breaking 100, it's fun. Like there's a lot you can do to break 100, and then if you're like, hey, I want to break 80.
Yeah.
It might be less strokes. It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Just because your margin for error. So I think now we're at that point where how can we go from 8-2, 7-3, 6-4?
Yeah.
Can we go 10-0? Can we go 9-1? And that's going to be hard, but that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and you touched a little bit on, obviously getting players and getting as much talent as you can, and the staff consistency is important. Like you said, that student experience and recruiting another kid from the same school is important, and I know I've benefited from that a ton, and we have here. So as far as let's talk a little about NIL, right? And so what that kind of looks like consistently for Division III, what do you think? How would we as in Shenandoah football? How do you continue to, I don't know, grow with NIL, but at the same time use that to get to take your talent to a different level?
What a interesting topic, because I don't know that college sports has ever looked this uncertain. And that's actually really turned into kind of a major talking point that I do recruiting wise, especially with the families. And it's just, there's more uncertainty than ever.
Yeah.
And what I have tried to do is, I think Division III schools, especially schools like Shenandoah, can really take advantage of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
In that, for football right now, a good high school player has less opportunities than they've ever had before. And that might sound counterproductive because there's all this NIL, high school kids get this, get that. But the colleges are going less to the high schools. They're going more to the Pro Day. So a young, talented player in the area 5 years ago in the football world had 12 opportunities, whatever you want to call them, 12 offers, whatever it might be. Now that kid has 4 or 5. And the high school coaches aren't as sure. They can't give as much good guidance because it's so crazy. The college coaches are all kind of just playing delay a game because they want to see how it all shakes out, right? I mean, you turn on college football now, every kid, he makes a catch. Oh, it's an Oklahoma transfer. You know, I mean, my dad watches it and is like, what is going on? Because, you know, well, my point is that the families that we really are going to have a chance to get, certainly we want them to be really good football players, but what do you believe in? If you believe in academics, if you believe in development on and off the football field, I think we got a good chance. I think we do. If you believe in what's in it for me, what am I getting? Am I going to start? And if I don't get what I want, I'm going to leave. Honestly, I don't want that kid. And I worry about what's going on in the bigger picture in college sports and society in general, because the parents are a lot of the parents are for that. And, I've got kids and I want, hey, go to a place you're going to, 10, 15 years, we're going to be like, you know what, I changed my life. Maybe I didn't know it at that time, but that really developed me, not just as a football player, but as a young person. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I had a great experience. People that cared about me, helped me on and off the field. That's what I want for our guys. So trying to take those uncertainties of what they see on TV and say, hey, listen, this is what we're about. Maybe this is going to be appealing to you and your family because, 5 years ago, maybe you had JMU. Maybe you had a D2 scholarship. Now it's, oh, you're a preferred walk-on and you're a maybe. Come here. And I like the NIL. I like that young people, I like that it's a more common sense approach in a way. You should be able to be compensated. You shouldn't be penalized because you play a sport. Do we need to get it under control? Absolutely. I mean, I think from the Division I standpoint, we got a lot of problems. I think they just made it one portal, which is good. That's good. I mean, honestly, if you said what's your opinion, you didn't. But
this is what we want to hear.
I mean,
please.
You should take Nick Saban. He should be the commissioner of college football, and he would save us from ourselves. That's what we need at that. And Division I, it's a mess right now. It's a great product. Everybody's enjoying it. But we got to change some things. That I don't think this is what we want this to be about in the long run.
Has any parent or kids come to you crazy about it, or had a crazy NIL idea, or something funny that they just don't know how it works here at this level?
We've definitely had NIL questions. And we, what the parents normally want to know, what the kid wants to know is, do you have any kids on your team earning NIL money? What opportunities are there? But what I do like is now, before, kids were limited. They knew they couldn't do any of that stuff. Now it was, hey, if there is a legitimate opportunity, then I know I can move forward with it. So, I mean, it's changing every I mean, you know how it is. Every month, every year, it's different. I think it'll look different in a couple of years. But I'm glad that somebody like Haley, unique situation, she's got an opportunity that 10 years ago she wouldn't have had. Not from not being able to play, but she's able to capitalize on it. I think our student athletes should be able to do that.
And she's like she's an outlier, obviously. I mean, some of her accolades of what she's received that's probably hard to go against now, but I'm sure you're getting a ton of questions about what she's got. But give me a little bit, because I don't want you to tell us everything you're doing, but what would it know? Is that like a free apple blossom donut for life, or is that like a Winchester coffee shop sponsorship? What's some ideas that you've kind of had maybe as a staff? Because this is going to seal the recruit right here. This is it.
This is the recruiting pitch.
This is right here.
I mean, I think you got to talk about like riding on the apple blossom float, right? And getting the key to the city or something like that. I mean, just being person of interest in Winchester is it's got to be up there. But you are positioned uniquely. you got an area that loves sports. Certainly you're close to DC, but we don't have a big D1 college team around us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're actually, I always find it interesting. You got more WVU fans than UVA fans, at least from my experience. So you get a lot of people that go to Shenandoah games.
Yeah.
You get a lot of business owners that, hey, now this kid could do a commercial.
Yeah.
This kid could, help me sell a car or whatever it's going to be. Trey Kern, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Maybe he's out there.
Somewhere.
Maybe. Okay. All right. So let's. When you sit down on a weekend, are you more likely, and I probably know this answer, to watch a big college game or the NFL?
Definitely college.
Okay.
Definitely college. It's funny, we watch so much football, but you don't really get to see much.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
I feel that.
Saturday, 1 o'clock game, I probably get home 5 o'clock, and I'm watching our videos.
Yeah.
There's games on in the background.
Yeah.
Sunday's a big work day for us, so you're aware of it, but I'm much more of a college guy than an NFL guy.
Yeah.
Much more.
Do you have a favorite NFL team?
I'm a Philadelphia, so I'm a Philadelphia everything.
Oh, man, I had no clue.
I grew up an hour north of Philly, so I'm Sixers,
Oh man,
Eagles,
hey, that's
Phillies.
why it's my
That
guy.
just adds some
I
respect
did not
for
know
you.
You were a Birds fan.
Yeah, I'm Philadelphia.
Wow.
I'm everything Philly.
Well, I can't. I won't take the. We
Let's
won't
not
talk
go
about.
off on
Yeah,
too much of
we're
a
not gonna go off to. But I
Let's
mean,
not.
I do want your opinion.
I
'cause
mean, you see the hat staring back at us right now.
Yeah. Look, they're feeling good, and David's wearing a Commander's hat, by the way. Well, I guess that's a Redskin hat.
Well,
That's
we
not a
know
Commander.
where his allegiance stands. It's okay.
That's all right. You're feeling good. It's a good time to feel good. My family's a Commanders fan, and they just, they actually don't win the Super Bowl. They're like Cowboy fans now, every year.
I don't know if I go that far with them just yet.
Well, that's how excited they get when they win one game. It's like, we're going to win this. Like,
But I don't know if they have as big of aspirations to go to the Super Bowl like the Cowboys fan might.
I mean, Cowboys haven't been anywhere.
NFC
so.
Championship last year, so that's the next step.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The Cowboys further than the Cowboys have been. But then I say we beat you by 22, like 32 point, whatever it was. Like, come on, man. I haven't closed. Sorry. All right, we get off tangent. Do you have a favorite college team? I mean,
Well, I mean, I would say Shenandoah.
Yeah, Shenandoah.
But
Great
to
answer.
be honest, my grandfather went to Penn State. I
Yeah.
grew up as a young kid. My dad would take us to games.
okay.
So I grew up watching
That's pretty
Penn
cool.
State. So I would say if we're talking, the major Division ones, that the
That's
Yoders
good
are Penn
football,
State
then.
fans.
That's good football. So who's your all-time favorite coach?
All-time
If you have one, yeah.
all-time favorite coach. Can I go kind of just a little different?
Sure.
So, and I wouldn't even remember the year, but the Philadelphia Flyers, so ice hockey, were in the playoffs,
Okay.
and they were playing the Boston Bruins,
Okay. and
and they were at Boston, and I can't remember who the coach was,
Okay.
but Philly got down like 3-0 or something. It was bad. It was really bad.
Okay.
And in hockey, and I'm not a huge hockey fan, but he called timeout. And he brought the group around, and I don't know what he said to him. And then Philly ended up coming back and winning. And they won the series. And I've always in my head said, I want to know what he said to him.
That.
And then, as you kind of become a better coach, you kind of realize he had to have great relationships with that group, because whatever he said, it's not just about what words you choose, but that's a moment. I know you asked for a great coach.
No, that's fine.
I think it was Laviolette. I think I might have the wrong guy. I'm not
do
a
the
hockey-
Google search on that, David.
Yeah, well, you guys can fact check me. I might be wrong, but that moment always sticks out with me about
Okay.
just, I would say that, and my mentor Mike Craig. I mean, has a lot of imprints on our life and our program, and I always think about it. He knew himself, and he knew us as a program really well. He knew our strengths and weaknesses. He had no ego about. Sometimes it's hard to look at the video and say we're not good at this,
Yeah.
and he was so good at that.
Yeah.
And that helped us win so many games because he was able to get us in the right positions and then attack weaknesses that maybe the other team didn't even know
Yeah.
they had. So, I mean, those are things that just stick with me.
Yeah. So when you like, and obviously like I know your off season's obviously different than ours, but when you are watching film, and I know I'm on Twitter all day watching just clips, and people do a really good job now of just breaking down basketball in a bad way and in a good way, but so that you can just get right to clips instead of, going watching full games. I mean, who do you find yourself like stealing stuff from the most? And maybe I shouldn't be asking you this, but program-wise.
Good question. I think there is so much out there. There's and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
My sons will come to me like, "Hey, have you seen this?" It's just a different world. They're sending you
stuff.
direct message. So it's just
they want to see you run some stuff.
But I would say the big thing for me now is there's all this stuff that's interesting, but what fits us? You probably could go to a basketball practice and say, that's an unbelievable practice. I love the way they coach it. But that doesn't fit us because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And it might be something as simple as they have more players or less.
Yeah.
Or so I love going to practices. I love watching teams do things.
Yeah.
How do they do it? Not so much the plays.
Yeah.
But there's probably 4 or 5 people that I'll call a lot. And it's X and O stuff, it's program stuff, it's development stuff, and I really appreciate them because there's one guy in particular that he's always going to answer, and I could have never guessed.
Yeah.
He always is going to give me a way to look at a problem or look at a situation completely differently than I had looked.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of the people, and it's not a program as much as there's a group of people that I trust that if I got something I'm really concerned about, I'm going to ask them their opinion, and I'm going to get a better idea of the clarity of the situation.
Yeah.
So, he's working at Minnesota now.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't think it's about their program. It's just more about I trust these people, and they've given me really good clarity on situations that is so valuable.
Yeah. And so you all right?
Oh yeah, I'm chilling.
Okay.
You're doing great.
You're enjoying it?
You're doing great. I'm just listening at this point.
And this is just for people who don't understand football, and this is me too, and I think everybody wants to know this answer. But, as a football coach, it is so much out of your control, things that happen, but also it's always on you. But in this, I heard somebody call Jalen Hurts a game manager yesterday, and I hated that. He's a good game manager. Pat Mahomes is whatever. So, but how do you manage your staff? How do you let them have their identity with things, and then how do you, because people might say Coach Yoder has no control over defense, or no control over what. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. I think he does. No, you know what I mean? But as people don't get to see that part, and they just understand, okay, he's the head coach, and this is how he has to manage people. So get in a quick way, because I know that's a long answer, but like, how can you tell us how that kind of works, again, for maybe our staff, but maybe for other staffs around the country?
I think it goes back to that, just how you want to build your staff.
Yeah.
When I got here, I was a defensive guy. I was a defensive coordinator. I coordinated the defense here.
Yep.
And then just really what I've turned into is I've got to go where I'm needed to maximize our staff.
Yeah.
And that's why I moved to offense, and now I coach the O-line, which was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed that. But I think it goes back to your staff. I don't know how they would describe me. Maybe you shouldn't ask them. I don't know, man. That's a dangerous question, but I don't think I'm a micromanager. I mean, I don't. I think you hire good people that believe in what you're doing, and you believe in them, and then you give them space to do their thing. And if you ask me what I struggle with the most, it's probably with just hiring and staff. Staff is like, and we don't run into this a lot, but like, my expectations are you're going to do the job.
Absolutely.
And it's not a 9-to-5. We know that.
Yeah.
So I have problems with people that I've run into in the past that, maybe weren't as committed as they should have been. And certainly not our guys now, but, I trust them. They're going to evaluate. They're going to make some course corrections. Am I involved? Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know what's going on.
Absolutely.
They've got to.
Absolutely.
I hired them for a reason.
So do you come into this season, like, for example, like O-line in the trenches, and we're going to get to that because I feel like that's probably the most important part of football, especially at this level up front. But do you come into it and you say, defensively, this is what I want to look like this year. This is what I want us to do. You make it work. Or is it, Coach, this is what this is what I really want to do. I want to incorporate this year. I want us to look this way. And you say, go for it, buddy.
I think it's much more of a conversation.
Okay.
And I think people got to remember that, we get spring football.
Yeah.
So, you come out of the winter and you're going to have some practices and it's, okay, hey, we're going to try some things in spring.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, not everything works on either side of the ball.
Yep.
And it's going to look a little different. And so much is driven by your personnel.
Yeah.
That every year you're going to be a little different.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it's not me going in there and saying, hey, we've got to run X, we've got to run Z. But it's little things that we've kind of come up with that's been like, hey, these are the things that we need to do as a program to get to that next.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that?
Mm-hmm.
How do we practice a little bit better? But it's more hearing from Calvin and Brock and those guys and say, hey, in the spring, just for instance, we need to move Matt Conroy around. He's one of our best players. He's an impact player. If we line him up in the same spot every snap, he's a little bit easier to game plan against. So we're going to move these guys a little bit, maybe bring a little bit more pressure in the spring and just see how that looks. And then that gets incorporated into what fall looks like. Same thing on the offensive side. We took a couple wrinkles through spring that maybe we haven't shown yet this fall, but we know it fits our personnel.
Yeah.
And to be honest, and our players know this, I'll come up with an idea and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a great drill. You probably get this in basketball. This is gonna be a great drill. This is what we're trying to work on. And you get through the drill and you're like, you know what? That was horrible. I didn't get anything that I wanted out of that. Or maybe a lot more times it's more like, hey, it was good, but I got tweaked. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that kind of evolve. So I think it's always a conversation. I know at the end of the day, if it ever comes down, I always say to those guys, hey, listen, Deshaun and Tracy are going to ask me. They're not going to ask you. So just make sure, we're all on the same page. But
have you ever had any of those drills, David, where he's sending you through something and you're just like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he says.
He said no. He said no. He said, of course not. Okay, well, so obviously our AD is a football guy. And so, this is also just, inside. Everybody wants to just know this. Listen, I'll put it out, ask a couple people what they want to know. How much do you guys get to talk about football? Or is he just very hands-off? Obviously not like telling you what to do, but do you guys get to bounce football ideas? Do you have football talk?
Well, you guys will know. I mean, Deshaun's watched film with us.
Okay. All right.
Okay? Now, that's not a regular occurrence because he's getting pulled in so many different directions. But that's got to be the first time in my 25 years where, he asked to. He's like, hey, can I just come and sit in?
Wow.
And it wasn't, hey, I want to run. I want to be a part of it. I want to see.
Yeah.
And he knows he's, been at so many different levels and is coached too. So, he's such a busy guy. We talk a ton.
Yeah.
We're always kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, and it's great to be able to talk football.
Yeah.
Because I've had some ADs that, the X and O stuff they didn't know. That's okay.
Yeah. The average person doesn't know X and O's.
Right, yeah.
But to after a game for Deshaun to be able to, hey, I loved how you guys did this.
That's cool,
Like, oh, I better be. He knows.
He knows.
He knows. You can't, he knows.
He sees it all.
Yeah, he knows.
That's got to be really cool, though, to just, somebody who gets it. Like I said, the average person does not get it. We can love football and love college football, but I don't know we don't know what's really going on. So I bet that's going to be cool. So
especially somebody that's outside of the main coaching circle too, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that he's anything like an outsider or anything, but somebody different.
So after this film session, did you say, text me your thoughts back later, or?
Well, we were watching some things. I actually think we were watching W&L.
Okay.
And that's where he coached.
Okay, yeah.
And he just had said, hey, some of the things you were talking about was you guys are exactly on the right track. Like, we're speaking a different language, but he's like, you're right. When you're talking about this is how we see them through our eyes, he's like, that's exactly who they were.
Okay.
So yeah, he'll give some suggestions, and that's great. But you know, I probably wish we could have more of those talks.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean,
You can get what you want, man.
he's a busy man.
Come on, man.
I mean, we're out. He's inside the gala. We're outside right now. I don't know. You know, there's a big difference.
He's at
That
the
looks
center
like 30
of the
feet.
gala.
That might as well be 2 miles.
Okay, in charge of O-line, how do we sum up your offensive or your O-line philosophy? What is that? One word or one sentence. How about that? Get that.
One sentence for the O-line. Well, this is not going to be one sentence.
It's not.
It's such a technical position, and there's so much to learn. And a guy I learned a lot from, Coach Oakley, who worked for us, and he coached O-line with me for a while. He's like, listen, you were born as a kid, and every kid played ball.
Yeah.
You know, every kid. It didn't matter if you were athletic or not. You knew how to pick up a ball, run with the ball, roll the ball, throw a ball. But nobody ever played block. You know, and that's what we're trying to do. Like we're trying to do something that's very unnatural, even in the athletic world.
Yeah.
And it's physically demanding.
Yeah.
And we could spend all practice, and Munoz would probably confirm this. We could do all practice doing individual, just technical individual things. But I think that what should separate us as an O-line is 5 guys playing as one. You know, if you don't give me the best 5,
Yeah.
you know, don't give me the 5 best. Or give me the 5 that play the best together.
Yeah.
That and we don't coach. We coach the technical side of it, but we also coach the mental toughness side of it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to play. You know, most D linemen rotate. O linemen don't rotate.
Yeah.
We got a run block. We got a pass block. There's no specialty pass pro blockers. There's specialist rush guys. You know, and you think about, hey, he had an impact. He had 2 sacks. Those are 2 plays. O-lineman, and we got to play 70 snaps. So it's more getting those guys into that right mentality and having the technical aspect. I'm looking at Munoz to see if he's like, well, he's way off.
You know, I was just say, physicality and toughness.
Physicality and toughness. It's definitely physical.
That's from the All-American right there.
Absolutely.
From the All-American.
Absolutely. So what's the one offensive concept you love to run and why? And you said that pass block, run block. What's one of your favorites for the O-line?
Well, last year it was probably our GT concept. We're gap
There we
scheme
go.
and some
Here we go.
inside zone, but we were really good at basically GT counter. You pull the guard, you kick out, the tackle wraps. It's one back. You can have a tight end. Stevie made it awesome because he could pull it and run it.
Mm-hmm.
Our backs made it awesome. Guys like Dom and David made it awesome. That, you know, but every year it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, in the spring, who are we?
Yeah.
Like last year we were a great GT team. Maybe we are that this year. Maybe we're something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're still trying to figure it out. But I really love that about us last year.
GT. Oh,
GT
man.
counter.
You're going to hear me talk about that all day now. GT counter.
What do you think the G and T stands for?
No clue. Guard tackle.
There you
Come
go.
on now.
We went from no clue
Come
to
on now.
300 level.
Hey, one of the greatest O-line, Jason Peters. He's one of the
So,
best.
Liz, I'm going to turn the tables on you. I'm going to turn and just think about it.
Boy.
No, I'm serious.
You're on the spot
Don't
now.
ask me a football
You're
question.
on the
No, it is
spot
a football
now.
question, but this is important.
Okay.
And you're an Eagles fan.
I am.
Okay. Super Bowl, when they beat the Patriots,
Oh, yeah.
Philly special.
Yeah.
What was the key to that play? Was the fact they knew they would be in man coverage.
Okay.
And who in man coverage is not guarded? Who's not accounted for? Who caught the pass?
Oh, the quarterback.
Exactly.
But he did the little tap on the O-line, trying to tell him to shift.
Well,
Was that one of
he
the
came
running
up like he was going to
Yeah,
change
yeah, like
it,
he was
and then
gonna
they
change.
snapped
Okay,
it. But
okay.
the thing that people don't connect on that play
Okay.
was the beauty of that setup wasn't that it was a trick play. It was they knew they were going to be in man. And if they knew they were in man, they knew nobody would have it throw back. I'll also give you a little SU thing.
There we go. Come on.
Is we ran that 6 years before.
Really?
And we did. We scored at Hampton Sydney. Travis Barton threw it to Hayden Bauserman. And I think Travis caught a touchdown pass that day and threw it. And that we called it Clemson.
Okay.
So, Philly special.
Well, we got to get it back in the playbook. And it's got to be Philly special or Yoder special because you ran it 6 years.
No.
You ran it
Hornet special.
Hornet special. You ran it 6 years early.
You know what? If we do that, we're going to call it Coach Blue.
No, don't do that. Nobody don't do that. Don't do that. But,
Isaac Blue's big play.
We'll stop. All right. So what's more satisfying? Spraying a long run, keeping your quarterback clean, or just watching the defense get wore down against your line?
Can't say all the above.
Well, I mean, you can, but what's your favorite?
I think from the O-line perspective is when we pop a run. It just, you get a bunch of guys working really well together on a play, and you see that. I mean, you get that instant, feedback. But the overall is when we start to impose our will, usually through conditioning and physicality on a team, because there's so much that we do that our kids know about that I love when they can make that connection that, like, you know what? We're better in the third and fourth quarter than that team because of all that stuff we did.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we did it, and they see that happen is as satisfying as it can be.
Yeah, and reference a hell of a player. I mean, we've gotten pretty fortunate with him, but people don't realize that O-line is really the big cause of that. Do you feel like the O-line, just question as a fan, do you feel like the O-line's gotten better, or that reference just that he's been that good? Because even in my time, my first 2 years, I feel like we didn't have a runner like him. Just tell me what you think.
So I'm talking now 2024.
Yeah.
I thought that O-line and Jalen and Bryce and McCloskey.
Yeah.
I thought I've never been a part of a group that complemented each other so well. And that's really kind of what we're getting at, because the backs can make us look really good. And I'm not saying that the O-line messes up and the running back runs for 50 yards. What I'm saying is Jalen was so good at being patient and taking a vertical seam and then violently running through an arm tackle.
Violently is correct.
And that complemented what we were good at up front. Then you bring in Bryce. What Bryce is really good at, he's a zone back.
Yeah.
But what Bryce is really good at is he presses so well and then hits the cut back.
Okay.
And he's just, he's there and then he's not. And if you watch him, he's so good in the hole at just, he gives these little moves that if you're watching it live, you're probably not like he made a move, but he turns that square tackle into an arm tackle and runs through it.
Yeah.
And I thought that group last year was the best at marrying what we did schematically with what we were good at as human beings. And that's why Jalen had such a great year.
Yeah.
That's why we had such great years in O-line. So now we're still searching. Yeah. Jalen, we know who Jalen is.
Yeah.
But we're a little bit different up front.
Yeah.
And we're a little bit better at some different things.
Yeah.
And I gotta get the right mixture so that everybody can max out.
Yeah. Who would you say is the best O-lineman in the NFL right now? If that's something you watch consistently.
Individually, that's going to be hard for me to answer.
Okay.
Really hard for me to answer. I like just watching those guys work together.
Yeah. What would you say, what college O-line you watch the most? And I know it's hard because I know you watch a lot of Shenandoah.
Yeah, a ton of Shenandoah. It's usually just the game that's on. It's just I just like to watch, the timing of plays, how the backs complement it, how everything's kind of, together.
You can just say the Eagles O-line because it's still one of the best in the league.
Well, you're right, but I don't get to see them. And I loved Kelsey, and I know he kind of took on like a cult following in a good way, but just kind of his mentality and his ability to be tough, but be out on the edge of things. And I mean, to be honest, O-linemen are the greatest people in the world.
Yeah.
You talk about a group that just doesn't really thrive on recognition.
Yeah.
And
Selfless.
that's not the world we live in now. And, if you had a problem, you would want O-linemen.
Yeah.
Because they're going to, I'm going to show up. I'll help you. Whatever we got to do. This is what we got to do. And all they want to know is be appreciated a little bit, be told what to do. And if you love them up, they're going to play their guts out for you.
Yeah.
They're awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah. So what excites you for the next, 3 to 5 years here at SU and looking at football?
Well, I mean, I think the exciting thing is that the 13 years have gone so fast. They've gone so fast. I'm going to blink and it's going to be 5 years from now. But, I really think we're at that stage where how can we, the last time we won 8 games, we went 5-5. And the big thing in the offseason, at least with the coaching staff, was what did we do? What did we not do? Let's not allow that.
Yeah.
If we're at the point where a 6-4 season is pretty disappointing, well, I think we've built something pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, getting to where we want to get to, being in the NCAA playoffs, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
That's not going to be easy. You're going to have to, a lot of things going to happen for that. You have to stay healthy. You have to play really well.
Yep.
Maybe get a couple bounces here and there. I mean, everybody's trying to take down Randolph-Macon, and I don't think they've lost an ODAC game since they lost to W&L on the last play of the game, maybe 4 years ago. That might be 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So we all know what we got to do.
Yeah.
But I think that's the challenge and the exciting thing in front of us.
Yeah. So obviously you're in a recruiting season, and as we're going through these games, what would be your, and you've talked about NIL, but what would be your pitch as to why someone should be a Hornet, after watching your group this year?
So I really think the key in recruiting, especially here, is get them on campus.
Yeah.
I really just believe that our biggest hurdle as a coaching staff is, can we get in the kid and the families enough to get them to come visit? Because I think if we get them to come visit, we're going to have a shot.
Yeah.
Because I think that you show up, whatever your major is, I think you're going to come here and you're going to like the campus, you're going to like the location, you're going to look around and say, hey, there's great buildings, they're obviously growing.
Okay.
You can tell. I mean, you can tell when you get to a place and it's kind of moving forward or it's not.
Yeah.
So I think that's our challenge.
Yeah.
Certainly, do we individually pitch guys? Absolutely. But get a kid on campus, expose him to a game day, expose him to our team. And to be honest, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't fit in with it, he's not for us. He's not going to help us. He's got to be a kid that comes here and says, hey, I love what you're building and let's go. And it's not that simple, but they've got to buy in.
Yeah.
They've got to buy in. But I think we've got such a great product here all across the board.
Yeah.
Winchester's a huge sell to families.
Yeah.
Get them here. If I can get them here, we got a chance.
Yeah. And so we're going to wrap up, and I think this is really what's going to win you the recruits now, okay? This is what's really going to win.
On.
All right. So, Josh Allen won the MVP last year, but obviously Lamar Jackson was right there. Do you agree with Josh Allen being the MVP last year?
So I'm gonna spin
That's
this.
a tough question.
So this is the question I ask all the time.
Okay.
And what quarterback would you want if you were starting a franchise? Not a game. What quarterback would you want if you needed to win one game? What quarterback would you want if you needed one drive? And I think, certainly people can answer however they want to, but Mahomes is the one drive. He's done it so many times. He can beat you in so many ways.
Okay.
But if you ask me what quarterback am I choosing from the NFL to start, hey, I want to build around this guy, it's Josh Allen. Because he can do what nobody else can do. And yes, you have to be careful with it, but that would be my answer. So again, I think Lamar's fantastic in there. But yes, I probably would say I think he was the MVP. And I think that's, if I had to choose one guy, that's who I would choose right now. If I can't choose Stephen Hubman. Is Stephen he's not available? Stephen's busy. He's
Maybe
working.
not, yeah.
Steven, personality-wise, would definitely win the MVP in my book.
Oh, definitely.
What would you think, Josh Allen?
One of the arguments that I really liked about that whole conversation is that, because obviously, like it's always been like the quarterback that won first team All-Pro was usually always the MVP except for this year, right? So I think one of the arguments that I really liked was people were saying that Lamar Jackson was hands down the best quarterback, but Josh Allen was the most valuable to his team, right? Like obviously, like Lamar has so many other great weapons on that team, offensively and defensively. Obviously, like Derrick Henry, but like you just see the way that Josh is able to win his team games on his own, right? Like we saw it week 1, right? The team was down 15 points with, 4 minutes to go, and they win the game.
Yeah.
And that's his doing, really, because he's orchestrating that offense. He's being a leader out there. And he just ultimately was the one to really get that done and win those games. Because it was pretty much all passing plays at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then a couple of quarterback scrambles. So.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't an answer I was expecting from both of you all, but that's fine. So let me add a caveat here.
What was your take on it?
Well, I'd say 40 touchdowns. What, 2 interceptions, 4 interceptions? Or was it 2, David? I think it was like 2. 2 interceptions. I mean, 40 touchdowns. I think if Lamar had a chance to actually get one of these rings in the last couple of years, I think things would be a little different. Because I do think that, what's his name? I think Mahomes just, I love Mahomes. I think he's good, but I also think he gets a lot of credit for a really good team. And Jalen Hurts gets the same thing, which...
If you were on the other side of it, what quarterback would you not want to see on the last drive? Your team is holding the lead. And
just the quarterback.
What quarterback would you not want to face on the last drive? For me, it's 100% Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because he's a playmaker. Absolutely. But so we put Lamar on the Chiefs, though.
Oh, I mean, Lamar's probably 1B.
Yeah, he's right.
1B because the problem with those guys is if you got to stop the first play, and then you got to stop play B and C, and those guys you can't. Really.
Yeah.
So those guys are both right up there.
Okay. All right. Let's safe answer. I'll take it. All right. Coffee or energy drink before game day?
No.
Neither. What do you do? He said
a water, a Gatorade.
Okay.
So I was on a Prime kick a couple years ago, and then I was told by someone important in my life that I shouldn't drink that.
Okay.
So maybe I think I'm an Ice Pop Prime guy.
Okay.
The Ice Pop.
I haven't tried the Primes yet.
They're good, but like a water or a Gatorade.
They're really sweet.
There's some of them are sweet, and I think they've got something in there that's bad for you. I like everything. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not a caffeine guy.
No. I've never had coffee in my life. I don't. No. Nope. This is
Wow.
all natural, Coach Blue. This is all natural.
We should have started with that.
No caffeine.
No caffeine.
Nope.
Coaching college football, no caffeine. That's
I
amazing.
just can't do it.
He and Andy Morocco are polar opposites.
Yes. Wow.
In more ways than one.
And that's not a shot at you, Andy. We love you, Andy.
All right. Out of the, this is kind of too quick. But what's one song that has to be on your pregame playlist?
Whiskey in the Jar, Metallica.
Okay. Metallica. I don't know the song, but Metallica.
I mean it. There's definitely others.
Okay. Give me another one. Maybe I might know it.
I don't know. I'll probably have to get back to. I will tell you, like in my high school, I remember playing high school sports, and all I listened to was Stone Temple Pilots before games.
Okay.
So, and then
That's valid. That's valid, yeah.
that's a long time
I'm
ago.
gonna need you to send me your playlist
Those
now
were
because I have
cassettes.
no
Those were
clue.
cassettes. The Sport Walkman, the yellow Sport Walkman,
Oh, yeah.
that was waterproof. Both you guys are looking at me like I'm 46 years old. So
We're not old, man.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay.
I thought this was a buzzy when you handed it to me. I thought I'd won an award.
All right, you need to send us that playlist. All right, if the NFL called and said, we need you to coach the O-line for one season, what team would you want to be with?
Just I get one season.
Not the Eagles, but yeah.
No. You're right.
One season.
I'm probably choosing it based off the head coach that I'd most like to
Okay.
kind of shadow.
Okay.
So just you would Charbonnet. So maybe I'm going to the Chargers.
Oh, that
Ju-
one.
Just to.
What do you mean that one?
You're gonna say the Ravens.
No, I would. I mean, that's. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think I'm an NFL guy, to be honest.
Well,
But
yeah.
but to learn to, I would love to be in some of those meetings and just
Yeah.
hear how they handle it. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's just so interesting.
Yeah. Who is your favorite leader in NFL? It can be college too. What do you think is your favorite leader?
So I'm a huge Andy Reid fan because of this. What I always appreciated him with the Eagles was his ability to consistently win with a lot of different people. And I just, we had Michael Vick at quarterback, like on the rehab assignment.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford. I mean,
Yeah.
his, and the NFL is kind of like built to make you go 500. So I have so much intrigue and respect for him on just everywhere he's been. They've been consistently good. Now, I'm not a Chiefs fan,
Yeah.
but if you've been a Chiefs fan, you've always
amazing.
been in the playoffs,
He's amazing.
and you can have your ups and downs, but that's unbelievable in the NFL.
That's
And
unbelievable.
he's always done it. And I've always just said, you know what, that dude's got the way. And I think we, you look at all these quarterbacks and people, hey, he's a bust.
Really?
A lot of these guys just end up in the wrong situation. I mean, you tell me if Justin Fields was with Andy Reid, I'm not saying he's a starter. I'm not saying he's a Patrick Mahomes. But that guy, and there's a couple of guys out, they get so much out of their guys
Yeah.
that sometimes you just got to be in the right situation.
Yeah. And that's why, I can't hate on the Chiefs because it's Andy Reid. Like, we should have never got rid of him, but I don't know why we thought we were just win now or whatever. But whatever. So I ain't gonna get into that. But I love Dougie P though. I mean, it was good for what we had him for.
Yeah.
So all right, we're at the end. Coach, I'm gonna leave you with the final word. Obviously, this is presented by Red, and I think your contribution to Red since it started has been just been huge in the foundation of building it. But we got a full year of events and things to do, and I would say your guys have been so important and pivotal to us being, I'm saying us as Red, just kind of moving to the next level to campus wide. But I just want to kind of leave you with the final word. It doesn't have to be about Red, but it could be just about your team and this year, whatever you like.
Well, first of all, I would just turn it back to you and say I appreciate what you've done, because I kind of remember when Red Team was started, and these aren't going to be the right words, but it was kind of easy to start it, right? It was easy to get momentum early. But what you guys have been able to do, just make it more visible. It's talked about in teams, the events, people look forward to those things as far as just getting together. I mean, as much as we work closely together, how much time do we get to really, everybody's always in season. Keric's always doing 18 different things, So for us to have those, the buzzies, the events that you guys do are great. So I think appreciative of what you guys have done, and Coach Blue specifically, just to keep that rolling. And to have some really tough but important conversations. We always kind of say it can't just be about football. Right? This stuff's gotta go farther in life for you, being disciplined, being accountable, being a great team member. And I think what you're tackling is what we're trying to tackle is those bigger issues. You can't just be about sports. Let's use that to make our communities better and move forward and maybe more visible on what the issues are out there. So appreciate that, and thanks for the opportunity to be here today. I really enjoyed talking to you guys about everything. I mean, it was exciting. It was cool. It was cool, and it wasn't just hey, why'd you call this play? Okay, the newspaper. Why'd you do this?
We like to
He's gonna
just
start
have
a quarterback.
just good conversation on this podcast.
I loved it. It
Just
was
want to
awesome.
pick your brain, man.
It was awesome.
That's it. So this has just been unbelievable. And I would just say, because I didn't want to get super emotional on this pod, but one of my, talks with Keyshawn Wilder was always how his relationship grew so much with you, and he was so fortunate. And it was funny as he got older. It's like, man, he used to tell me all the time, I understand why Coach Yoder I understand. He would always say that. And that just made me even come here today just feel so, it reinvigorates me to kind of, one, push through and not be lazy, but to talk and to see why you do what you do and to talk to different head coaches. This year, Red is definitely dedicating our year to Keyshawn and everything we do. But hopefully moving forward that we can value those relationships and how much impact that you coaches really have. So I just wanted to kind of leave you with that.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. And Key was a great player and was what you mentioned. I was a better human being for coaching him.
Absolutely.
And it was never, he really challenged me. And in a positive way,
Yeah.
but in a way that sometimes I was like, why?
Yeah.
And now as I got older and he got older,
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of realized why.
Yeah.
And he made me a better coach.
Yeah.
Not just because he was a great player, but
Yeah.
for some of those things. And I realized I needed to connect with him on a different level
Yeah.
to try to get the most out of him.
Yeah.
And it was a great reminder for me. And I know he's really missed and he means a lot to us. And thank you for saying
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Coach. All right. I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling great.
Feeling great? All right. We're all good. Go ahead. You
Close it
do
out.
your thing,
Ah, you've
brother.
been talking. You
I'm
close it
not
out.
good at this.
Say thanks to everybody. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dave, for sitting through
Yes.
this. I know we're in the sun and we talked a long time. But that'll be the end of the first episode of Around the Hive podcast. Thank you, Keric. Thank you, Coach Yoder.